You know, we had Bradley Cooper on before The Hangover came out, the first one. And he was like, yeah, we got this movie, we'll see what happens. And then it goes on to become this, I mean, the highest grossing R-rated film ever, but also this cultural phenomenon. So much so that looking at the posters for this film, the billboard, it doesn't even say the name of the movie on the billboard. That says something.
It just says Part 3.
Part 3 and the end.
Right.
Or it ends. What do you make of what's happened with the Hangover series?
It's just beyond my dreams. I mean, I was, just like what Bradley said in the first movie, I remember telling my wife, I think I'm part of the funniest movie I've ever been a part of. I just hope people see it. And, I mean, boy, did the people see it. I'm just so grateful. And I mean, every bit of success and work I've done in the past 4 years is solely due to The Hangover, and I can't even... I think it'll still take a while for me to process all this because it's such an embarrassment of riches for me right now, just to even be here and talking to you. Because I remember seeing Bradley Cooper online talking to you back in the States, and so it's so surreal to be here.
No, we're happy to have you. When you were shooting the first Hangover, how was your wife's health?
Thank you for bringing that up. My wife, who she was diagnosed with breast cancer at the same, just right before I got the part of The Hangover, and I actually almost didn't do the movie. I wasn't going to do it, and my wife and her family, I was taking care of, we have twin girls, they're 1 year old at that time, and I was taking care of the kids and my wife and just driving her to get chemotherapy, and you know, I didn't know if I could do it or not, and I was really my wife encouraged me to do it because I think I was kind of suffering from a little caregiver burnout as well, and I just want to know it's been 5 years, my life is still cancer-free. Yeah, breast cancer, And I believe, yeah, I mean, a lot of that informed me of playing Mr. Chow. It was, I played it so aggressively in many ways because it was, I believe, like, life is short, and it was because of that. I mean, it was actually it sounds strange, but it was my choice to do it naked in the movie, in the first movie. And normally I'm pretty shy and demure, and I don't even like to take off my shirt at the beach. I mean, that's kind of how ashamed I am of my body, all right? But I did, during that intense period of time, there was a side of me that was like, you know, just whatever your instincts are in life, just go for it. Life is short. Right. You have nothing to lose. And it really was, I don't know, in many ways, it was a transformative point in my life, not only professionally, but personally. And it's kind of taught me ever since the last 4 years of my life was just to always go for it and just follow your instincts, you know.
When a character like that for you in your life experience, when that character is born out of a fire, what is it like to revisit that character? And can you play it the same? Can you have that same relationship with it, that same fearlessness?
That's a great question. The second movie, yeah, I didn't. The first movie, I think I played it with a lot of anger and a little bit. And I think I was channeling the inner rage I was having against, you know, my wife's illness and just the frustrations. And the second movie had a different tone, at least for Chow. Chow was a lot happier there. He was just, you know, perfect life. You know, he was, you know. And it did actually parallel what was going on. Like, my wife actually came with me to Thailand, and while we're filming, and it was like, I felt like the second movie was like a celebration in many ways of the success of the first movie, and I just kept telling him, I can't believe we're here all together with my best friends doing a sequel. And I brought my wife out while we were filming, and we just toured all the Buddhist temples, and I mean, we had a lot of fun, and then it was so much fun. You're right, I think Chow was a happier character. And then in this movie, it really is, yeah, like, and Hangover Part 3 is an epic finale, so you're kind of like tying up all the consequences of 1 and 2, and you're right, it's kind of mimicking a lot of things. There's no darkness in my life, like the finale is very dark in many ways, but
it's so dark.
But I do think
so dark.
But I do think it's a sign that all of us are ready to move on. You know, like you know, in terms of our lives and in terms of the Hangover franchise in general. There is like this kind of parallel metaphor that we're all kind of following. Like in this movie, Alan, played by the brilliant Zach Galifianakis, he is ready to move on with his life, and he has to. He basically has to handle or do the dance with Chow one more time, because Chow is basically the face of consequence. He's the devil of the movie. I mean, you realize after the third movie...
He's his id, man. He's Alan's id.
He's Alan's evil id.
Yeah. Let's go back old school with you and Zach.
This next segment... You have any questions? This next segment is called Everything an Asian Wanted to Know about a Greek but was too afraid to ask. For those that don't know, I'm Greek.
Right, Mr. Galifianakis, if that's your real name. When the movie Grease came out, were you disappointed that it was a rock and roll musical in the 50s and not a movie about overweight goat farmers eating feta cheese?
Yes, to all those. Thank you, Ken.
So that's an open mic night before people really knew who Zach was.
That was 1998, fall of 1998. I've known Zach for over 14 years, and he was, when I first moved out to Los Angeles to pursue comedy, I met him at an open mic club in LA, and that was the place, and he was one of the first comics to be nice to me. He's an old dear friend, and for us to be together in this context. It's actually, when we get together, we never talk about, like, what our next we never do Hollywood talk. It's more like, hey, hey, how's Pete doing? You know, or how's our old comedian friends? It's always like, hey, how's our old friends doing? And we're just trading notes. Oh, I just talked to Pat the other day, you know, things like that.